Here with Michael Boone Patterson, athletic director, head football coach for the Snook Bluejays. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
Oh, it's a great day to be a Blue Jay. We're doing good over here.
How's your family holding up with you around so much?
Oh man, we're doing good. I've been blessed with probably the best coach's wife in the world. I know I'm biased with that opinion, but she's been very supportive from the very beginning. She kind of knew what she was getting into because I wanted to be a coach ever since we got together. She knew my work ethic and what was happening, and she's just been a godsend. With our two kids, got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and she works from home, so she's continued to work from home during all this, but had those two little rugrats running around too. So I think she was relieved that I was around to, tag team it a little bit. But she's been a real trooper, and she always will. And she's one of the reasons I get to do what I love, and I cannot say I'm thankful enough. You know what I mean?
A big change going from one kid to two kids, going from zone to man to man.
Oh yeah, we talk about it. I don't know that we're done yet, but we always wonder what's it gonna be like when we're outnumbered. At least now we can divide and conquer.
All right, let's go back a little bit, about 6 weeks ago or so, or maybe closer to 8. But when all this came down, right around spring break, and then over the weeks following that, we learned that we were going to lose the spring sports and the impact that was going to have on the seniors. Just kind of talk about that impact on a small community like Snook.
Well, in a community like us, being as small as we are, the school is the backbone. It's kind of the community center. So when it kind of shuts down and closes down, there is a big void within the community, and especially our seniors. This being my first year and coming in last March, about spring break time, uh, these seniors really embraced my vision and what we were trying to do here, and they did a great job buying in and selling it to the underclassmen and really hitting this thing running. And I can't tell them thank you enough for what they've done, establishing our foundation this year. And it hurt me on a personal level with each one of those kids. We're small enough to where, my senior class was only about 12 guys and about 3 girls. And those individuals, you get to know them on a very personal level here. And having their season end the way it did, or seasons end the way it did, they play every sport, so at least they got a few of the sports in. But when they're spring sports, the people who love those, when it got taken from them, I can't tell you how much that hurt.
So let's talk a little bit about the community support there. So didn't play football from, I think, 1952 to 2009, then reinstated the program in 2010. Then 2 years ago, a little more than 1 to 2 years ago, passed a big bond to upgrade the facilities there.
That's right. This community is one of the most supportive communities I've ever been a part of. They invest a lot in their kids. They know and love each and every one of them, and you can tell from the bond itself to the support we get at every sporting event, and not just sporting events, but school events, anything we do. This community is a strong community. They have very strong ties. A lot of our kids are related, cousins, and Snook tradition is deep in them. And even though it wasn't football at the time, there's 18 state championships here in Snook, and 10 of them in basketball. And so, there is a championship tradition here, and we're just trying to get that to spread to football, this young program that we got going on.
It's got to be very exciting. You're going to be playing your first home football games this year.
Oh yeah, we talked about it. We started the year off on a little bit of a road trip, and then our first home game, quote unquote, is at Allen Academy. And the week before, we played at Brazos Christian, which is actually closer. And our kids were saying, at least we get a home game. And I'm like, guys, we got to drive farther than we did last week for an away game. So I don't think it's quite sunk in the impact playing right across the street from campus is going to be, or playing right here in Snook. I know everybody's excited, but I think for our kids, it's going to be a big shock to the system. They get that true feeling of Friday night home field advantage, and I think it's an exciting time.
So let's talk a little bit about the Blue Jays for the fall. This will be your second year there as head coach. So First, talk about what is the Boone Patterson brand? What is it that you're trying to instill there in Snook?
Well, we talk about controlling the controllables. We're big on we're going to focus on us more than the opponent. We're going to try to be consistent. We're going to try to execute at a high level in everything we do. Um, we're real big on effort. We want to, if we're going to do anything, we're going to stress effort to the fullest, focusing on what we're trying to do. We talk about the Snook standard a lot. We're trying to set a standard of excellence, championship tradition, and carry that on. And I think our kids, one of the benefits of taking this job, and the reason it's really been a dream job for me, is like a lot of that was already instilled. You take your first job and you think, man, how am I going to get these kids to buy in, and how are we going to get them to work? And the weight room's a big deal here. Um, but when I walked in, a lot of that was already ingrained in these kids, and I think that shows, the role that the community has done with them, their parents, and not just their parents, but other community members that have invested in these kids from a young age, and the youth sports programs they have here and the traditions they have. These kids, they work hard, and that makes my job easy.
So, what do we look for the Bluejays on the field this fall?
Well, like we said, we're trying to establish that championship standard. So we're trying to win, and we want to execute to the fullest and be consistent in what we do. And I think we lost a lot. Our senior class, like I said, was big and it was talented. There were a lot of kids in that group that contributed night in and night out, and practices and games. And I think we were looking at stats the other day. We lost about 34 touchdowns of production on offense, and that's gonna be hard to replace. But we also, being the small school we are, I mean, everybody plays on Friday nights. We don't have a lot of guys that don't get playing time, so the experience with the younger guys is there. And I think, last year we were more of a two-headed monster on offense, but I think this year we're gonna have a lot more skill guys involved. Be able to have a few more weapons. We got a quarterback coming back that threw for 1,200 yards, Garrett Leroy. He'll be a junior, so he started all year, was the district newcomer of the year last year, offensive newcomer of the year. We got some skill guys that have already stepped up to be leaders in our offseason. Justin Shupak, David Davila, two skill guys that are going to carry the ball for us, but also play a ton of defense. Got some offensive line guys that really we think our starting five could be one of the better offensive line units we've had here. We have one senior, Jason Barker, who's been a all-district player for the last 2 years on the offensive line and defensive line, and he'll be the senior on that team. But everybody else on that O-line is pretty young. We're excited about what they can do in the future. Got some strong kids, powerlifting kid, Cody Noriega, that's put up some big numbers in the weight room. We're looking for that to translate to the field. Defensively, we got some in the back end. The secondary is almost all back. We lost a corner that was really good for us last year. But we got another guy that's about a 6'8" high jumper. It's long and rangy, and his name's Deshaun Hamilton, and I think he's going to do big things this year, both offensively and defensively. Jermaine Kearney was our leading receiver last year, and he's coming back. Had a big basketball year, and now we're looking for that to translate to the football field. So we got exciting pieces coming back. We did lose a lot. I think we're ready to take that next level, take it to the next level. I was hoping that, we could get a bunch of work in the spring, and our off season would continue the way it was, but, things out of our control. We talk about controlling the controllables. This is just another event that we're going to have to respond to, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
So UIL made a statement yesterday that basically they're going to make a statement and tell
That's
us
right.
June 8th, we know that there'll be some form of limited strength and conditioning. We don't know all the details of that yet, but at least first step in getting back.
That's right. And, this is one of those things, as a coaching staff, and I'm blessed to have a great coaching staff here, both boys and girls. We never took a day off really once this started. We kind of got on it, did a whole bunch of stuff, contacting our kids, whether it's phone, email. We got on the huddle, the Remind, the Google Classroom, everything that everybody's been doing here, Zoom meetings, whatever we could do with these kids. But, we've been planning for best case scenario for for the longest time. It's always been, well, what happens if they open it up next week? What's that going to look like? And so, we have what we think are multiple contingency plans, and we're just excited that all of these positive steps of getting back to whatever normal might be, getting to see the kids again in person and getting to work with them. We've just been very excited about every step that the state and UIL has taken to get closer and closer to that.
Well, thanks for your time today, Coach, and definitely hope to get to see your Blue Jays play on the field this fall.
Thanks very much, man. It's a great day to be a Blue Jay.